Hey everyone, it's Joanne Molinaro, the Korean vegan, and today I thought I'd show you how I made this delicious Budae Jjigae. Budae Jjigae is basically taking everything in your fridge, dumping it into a pan, adding some spicy broth, and of course some ramen noodles at the end, because what's a Budae Jjigae without ramen noodles? This is going to be a story time video. We're going to be chatting about stuff that's going on in my life right now and in the news. Don't worry, instructional video to come. So, with everything that's been going on in the news these past several weeks, I was actually reminded of a couple of things related to my father. Again, those of you who are new to my YouTube, you haven't yet maybe met my father, but my dad is now a beloved figure in both the TikTok and Instagram community. And let me just say, my relationship with my very Korean father hasn't always been easy. And in fact, it was quite tense and downright hostile at a certain point. And I think it started off really young. I think I was probably about 9 years old. I think I was in fourth grade when my father kind of walked into my bedroom and he's lugging in this huge, old fashioned, like, what even is it typewriter? I swear to God, if you guys saw this typewriter today, half of you would not even recognize what it is. But it was one of these old fashioned typewriters. You had to load in the ink ribbon by hand. There was no backspace. You had to have a little bit of white out, a bottle of it next to you in case you made any mistakes. It was so loud. As soon as you turned the on switch on, it was like there was an engine inside of your room. And he's lugging this big machine into my bedroom, and he has with him a sheaf of papers with him as well. And it's just pages and pages of his handwriting. And he tells me, "You need to write this. You need to type this letter for me." And I'm like, "What? Why do I need to type this letter for you?" And it was because he knew that my English was better than his. And he also knew that I could type better than him, even at that early age. And that was really the beginning of me doing a lot of sort of administrative, what I viewed to be as adult tasks for my dad. I would be the one who called customer service. I would have to read off his social security number to the bank so that they knew that they could talk to me on his behalf. I was the one yelling at the insurance company when the claims weren't adjusted. You know, these were things that I was doing probably by the time I was in junior high, long before I was an adult. And the truth is, I really resented him for it. Not only because I was a kid and I just wanted to hang out with my friends, go bike riding, and, hang out at the park and the mall instead of writing his stupid letters and calling customer service for him, but also I felt very much as though I was thrust into this role of protecting him. I had to be the one that fought his battles for him to a certain degree. Many of those letters were to his boss, complaining about this or that, or saying how some of his colleagues had been, well, unkind to him. And I hated seeing that. And I hated being forced to defend him, even though maybe he didn't see it that way. Many years later, I moved into my parents' neighborhood. I actually lived in a townhouse very near to them. And I was walking my dogs, and I walked past this white woman who seemed very busy, and I moved out of her way, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry," because I didn't want to get in her way. You know how it is. You say you're sorry even though you have nothing to be sorry about because you don't want to get in a person's way. And she goes, "Yeah, I'll bet you're sorry." And I'm like, "What? What did I do? I literally just stepped out of your way. I didn't even touch you." And I turned around and I said, "Excuse me? Do you have a problem?" And she goes, "Yeah, I got a problem. I'll tell you what my problem is." She goes, "You people are ruining this neighborhood." And it was very obvious that by you people, she meant Korean people. And I was completely flabbergasted. It had been a while since such overt racism had been hurled at me. And I was like, "What are you even talking about?" And she said, "Your father. Your father wouldn't even shake my husband's hand when he tried to introduce himself the other day. And I was dumbstruck. And it took me a moment, but I gathered myself and I said, excuse me, but in Korean culture, it's not necessarily normal to touch people you don't know. And my father is incredibly shy and he's socially awkward, okay? He didn't do it because he was trying to be rude. And yeah, he won't make eye contact with you because, again, in Korean culture, looking at someone straight in the face is considered rude. And it was then that I really recognized the sort of kind of latent anxiety that I have harbored in my heart my entire life when my parents are in the vicinity of white people. The overwhelming majority of people that we've come across in the United States have been welcoming, but every once in a while, you never know. You never know when somebody will willfully misunderstand you and willfully attribute things to you that are completely at odds with our intentions, perhaps because of our culture, maybe because of the color of our skin. For the past several weeks, the Asian American Pacific Islander community has been under attack. There's really no way to sugarcoat it. That is what's happening. Our elderly are literally being killed. In Atlanta, 6 Asian American women were shot to death. And it is breaking my heart. I honestly don't even know how to feel. And it's been a little bit hard for me to process everything that's been happening. But the thing that anchors me, that keeps me from simply floating away in my own despair, is this idea that I am here to protect my parents. That ever since I was 9 years old and my dad lugged in that typewriter into my bedroom, I have been training to protect my parents. I have been training to use everything that I have learned about being a displaced Asian American in a country that sometimes welcomes me and sometimes tell me to go back to China. I am using every little bit that I have learned to protect my parents. I'm here to speak for them in a voice that will demand respect, that will demand to be listened to. And I'm here to translate for them, not the English words, because they speak English just fine. What I'm here to translate for them are all the things buried in those words. Anyways, guys, I know that this is a more serious YouTube video than normal, but I felt this was an issue that needed to be addressed in a meaningful way. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed chatting with me about this incredibly important topic. If you did, please hit that like button and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future Korean vegan videos. Have a lovely day.